A lot of Cassidy in this tournament yet, but does have good survivability up against Fizz.
Played once or twice if memory serves. Marin will get his hands on Fiora, so double assassin comp from SKT, no traditional frontline, and you've got all the safety of Tahm Kench.
Well, very low wave clear, but they don't see the Tristana, they don't see the Jinx on the side of AHQ, they have the Trist, so there's not a lot of pushing power right now, so SKT is pivoting this game. They see the Fizz come out, they're saying, well, you can't fast push us, we don't need the wave clear, we will simply play your game and beat you at the skirmish game.
If AHQ don't get a damage source from their top lane, they could just run out of damage as the fight plays on. Ziv gonna go with Darius once more. Another last rotation Darius pick into the Fiora up top to round out AHQ's team composition.
Yeah, just full on skirmish mode. No wave clear, probably the lowest amount of wave clear we've seen in the entirety of Worlds. If you combine all champions here, just full on skirmish and very snowbally either way. So in that sense, if AHQ gets ahead, they can start punishing SKT, but
I feel like I've heard that before, Crepo.
yeah, but what else are you gonna say? I mean, come on.
Yeah, and it has to happen with Faker. Faker's the one playing with the TP here. We saw him play with Ignite and Westor with the TP in the first game. They are going to have the higher mobility. Faker doesn't have the most experience on Cassidy, and this will only be his 8th professional game on the champion, but he is 5-2 so far.
And again, Wolf bringing out the exhaust to just deny some of that damage. Really good against Fizz because you can get it in as he's dashing in, prevent some damage there. You can deny some dunks, and just with the Devour again, you can just, once the target's bleeding, you can deny the dunks simply by just eating your ally. And we need to see if AHQ can finally start playing around this Tahm Kench, because Wolf, he almost carried that last game as a support, just with the denial.
I definitely want to see the interaction where Wolf on that Tahm Kench eats a target that's been hit by Chum the Waters, and see what happens to that giant Oof. We do see the team compositions, guys, on your screen for potentially the last time for AHQ. It's 2-0 in favor of SKT, and Faker is running the second Cassidy of the World Championship. It's game 3 and possibly the last of the day. Jump on Twitter, let us know who you think will win.
And this first Cassidy was actually played by Pawn against H2K, and I didn't like the pick there because I thought it could have been punished very hard because EDG did take a lot of low wave clear. They made it work in the early game and they ended up taking a victory there. But this time around, I feel the Cassidy pick is very, very safe for SKT because AHQ simply does not have the tools to punish it.
Yeah, in the laning phase itself, you just want to get that Q out as Westor's charging at you to deny that initial damage. Westor obviously wants to use Playful and Tracer to deny most of Faker's damage, so it's a very skill-heavy matchup. And a lot of auto-attack trading in minions will decide how that lane goes. Hook goes wide here, so Albus started with Hook. Bank did not get caught, and that's a 50-50 though. Any point in that brush, Bank could have technically gotten caught there.
Cheating up towards the top side though, because the Hook is usually thrown through the bottom part of that brush, and
perfect synergy here. It's like synchronized diving.
That's the deepest ward we've had in the early game before laning phases started, and I think both times AHQ have been able to initiate the lane swap. It doesn't look like they want that this time around.
Maybe our first time here with standard lanes in this series. So we've got that coming in here as both of the dual lanes start on the bottom side.
Crowd cheering for Fallen. Remembrance Day.
It's just a eulogy, you know.
Eulogy. E-eulogy?
The E-eulogy is coming when SKT's next match happens, Grubba.
Hopefully it doesn't happen tomorrow. All the fans in-house. But Mirrored starts once again, except on the side of AHQ. Their top and jungler starting on the Krugs up top.
You can see Westor, he's actually starting Playful Trickster because he knows if he trades into Faker with Q, he loses trade anyway, so he just wants to dodge the damage and do return damage with that Playful Trickster. But then he has to be careful of trading in melee range.
A bit of a different start this time. They don't give Aldous the level 2, instead just sharing that experience as they know that 2-on-2 is going to be coming. Ziv hits level 2, same as Marin, and both will simply walk into that lane.
Take an early burst of damage as Wolf hits Albus for a couple of autos. Death Sentence finds the Catfish, but I'm not really sure gonna jump in there. No grey health means that will hurt Wolf for a little while.
Yeah. It's a good trade there from AHQ overall. Waited for Albus level 2, he's now level 2. Bang wastes his explosive charge on minions. This could be opening up for a trade here. Look at Albus, he knows because that's why he's walking forward.
Flay hits, Death Sentence follows, and Wolf just breaks the chain. To the sounds, Crepper.
Well, who needs to trade when you can just eat your AD carry and keep pushing the minion wave with explosive shot, Crepper?
Morin in a straight up lane, winning the early level 2. Gents, we're not over yet. Albus, he really wants to go in. The flashed play. Death Sentence will get interrupted because Wolf will eat bang on. Bashes defensively backwards. There are teleports available if someone wants to play. Wolf is low. He's got a bunch of stacks and the rend comes out. Albus is stunned. Here comes Faker. He's going to look for the first kill of the game. He should get it. Null Spear. Auto attack for bang. First blood, SKT.
Yeah, and every time Bang gets eaten by Wolf, what ends up happening is just a flail of fish. Just one target gets hit, and then you can't get the AD carry. That hook just went wide. He completely got put in the mouth of the Tahm Kench and just gets denied.
That's why you need the Blitzcrank. Get the hook in there so that they can actually just pull him right out, pull him to you. Instead, it is the natural counter, just like in real life.
Fortunately, it didn't work for Afromoon. We saw him playing Blitz in the group stages. This is your Bang and on stats, Tristana versus Kalista. But what a great positive use of teleport at level 3. Something we did not see from Westor in the 2 previous games.
And this is what's so good about this matchup coming in, is because Faker has the freedom. There's virtually no punishment from that. The Fizz can't get the tower damage down. He's not going to do anything in the early game. So you have total autonomy to make teleport plays on the bottom side. And when you commit like that, like Albus did, with the flash coming in, you have to expect that Faker's going to show up.
And the one game that Westor opts to not play teleport, he actually goes for Ignite. Bot lane skirmish happens. His mid laner that he's supposed to beat them 1v1 gets a free assist, goes back to lane, and then picks up the wave. So his Ignite's already being somewhat nullified right here. So things just getting worse here for HQ.
Difficult starts in Game 3 of this series. Let's see a moment ago in terms of the items. Pickaxe already picked up there for Bang with his first blood gold against the longsword of Arn. This is going to make a very difficult lane for a matchup that was already in favor of SKT.
SKT looking calm and collected on the cams right now as it's like they're sorting out an issue with Wolf's PC.
Yep. Client issue on Wolves should be resolved quickly. So you can get back into games. So you can keep eating Bang every single time. You think they'll learn though, after like 2 games of Tahm Kench, it was a nice flash and flame, then you can't go for that hook. You know Devour's coming.
And somewhere backstage, Kobe is pulling his hair out. He's the most excited Tahm Kench caster off air, and he's not had a single game yet. It's very depressing, sad times for Kobe. But
Way to rub it in, quick shot.
For Wolf, I just gotta get it in there, just throw some of that salt out. But for Wolf, Monty, despite having no competitive professional experience, showing a great master of the champion, great synergy with the rest of his team, and decision-making, when to use those ultimates, when to devour the respective teammates.
Well, and that was one of the questions coming into this tournament, too. After MSI, after Wolf's last performance on the international stage, indeed his first actual performance on the international stage, because SKT has never competed internationally, was he going to have an issue with nerves? Because he really didn't play up to form when he was in Tallahassee. But here, he's on a new champion. Remember that his first time playing Nautilus support was in Game 5 versus EDG. Comes here again in a pressure situation with a new pick, and he is delivering.
Okay, Mountain and Albus pathed together to the right side of mid, because Westor, instead of doing the fast push, which he can't because he's Fizz, actually put up a bit of a freeze to deny CS from Faker. He's now 7 CS up, and there's an additional 6 CS extra in that wave that's coming towards Westor, so you can actually get significantly far ahead. Mountain's pathing in right now. Well, Faker knows though.
It's a party in the mid lane. Mountain's here, Wolf's here, Bengi's nearby. Even Albus had moved up into the river. Westor's taking far too much damage, forced to back away, and this wave should reset slowly in the next few minutes back towards Faker.
He's trying to deny as much as he can, though, while Westor is going back. Mountain is just pinned to this mid lane right now, trying to keep the wave off the turret. So SKT just buying a lot of information, a lot of time right now.
Yeah, HQ just going too far in that freeze. Sometimes you sacrifice too much trying to preserve it, and then Faker actually ends up 2v1ing here. In the top lane, we see a beautiful counter here from Arn on that Darius spin.
Yeah, nice riposte, and we've talked about this matchup being very good for Fiora because you have the riposte and you have the dash to get out of the decimate as well.
And backup for Morin as well. Bengi's sticking in that tri-bush.
Here he goes. Bengi's pathing so far in this tournament has been fantastic. Finds himself behind Ziv again.
Morin's even flashed for this one. Bengi's moving forward, holds the cocoon until it's point blank and undodgeable. Another kill to SKT. Westor does not have Chum the Waters and not going to be able to do anything to fake it in.
I really like the way Bengi played that because he waited. He knew that Ziv's flash was still up. So he was waiting. There were two conditions he was waiting for. One, Ziv flashes, he cocoons him afterwards. Two, he gets low enough that they can kill him during the cocoon duration. And we have some... Wow.
Fake is going to get killed. Westor follows the flash. May not survive.
Oh.
One more hit. The melee minions chasing and Westor wins the 1v1.
Didn't even follow the flash. He predicted the flash right there. Fantastic Fizz play overall here. Because Faker flashed very late. He didn't instant panic flash. He waits for Westor to almost land, and Westor just predicted that this is going to happen, so solid play.
Has the potion ticking too, but nicely done by Westor.
I predict a slow-mo zoom in from our observers.
Ignite right there. Wow.
My prediction not as good as Westor.
Really nice. Really nice stuff from Westor. And that's why he's one of the few players who has the balls to blind pick that Fizz.
Need to see if it'll work out for him. Mountain's going to come up to this top lane, show face. Morin has got access to Grand Challenge. Ziv, not yet level 6, but down in CS. So Westor, flash burned, ignite burned, and a small CS advantage. We need to see if he can continue to snowball that lead, whereas Faker's TP, very close, 25% of the cooldown left, and then Faker may look to impact those side lanes.
Well, here we go. I know how this story ends.
Yeah, they've learned a lesson. It's such a disgusting matchup for Thresh. It's like you don't want to focus Wolf because he has great health, and then you don't want to focus AD carry because you'll end up in his belly anyway. So what do you even do in this matchup?
Lose mana throwing hooks.
You see him farming relatively well. Apprehend gets pulled back onto Morin. Ziv has got Noxian Guillotine and Flash. Might was up, and Morin again at this stage will get pushed away. Spawn will be happy to see the matchup playing out exactly as described on the analyst desk.
Nice use of Blazeful Trickster right there. He really knows the limits. He's 2 levels up on Faker right now, so feeling very confident and doing quite well in this lane so far. Oh! Ooh.
Ziv flashed for that one.
Just took a turret shot, so Marin's gonna back off. Mountain has to be careful.
He saw Bengi earlier. He was dueling vision on Bengi though. Goes in on Morin though.
Not enough. Morin manages to survive. Bengi's now going to look for Mountain. Finds a cocoon. Has the support of the minions. Westor was roaming, but not going to get in range. Mountain's going to back away.
Yeah, there's no counterplay to that yet because SK Telecom has started to lose this mid lane battle. So they can't really play aggressively around this. Westor, that level up again, and he's going in with a fish.
He's get some good damage down, but doesn't follow through with anything more. He's stoned or Playful Trickster. Westor's increasing at CS difference, plus 13 as we're getting closer to 10 minutes. But he needs to do a whole lot more if he wants to make up the gold deficit that his entire team find themselves in.
More farming right now, so no big action coming up. Of course, we do have a couple of TPs available for Ziv and Faker's just going to use his to get straight back to that mid lane. Doesn't want to lose any more farm on this turret. Force pulse off while he can.
Doesn't have flash, but Ziv will once again be dueling Morin. I really feel like we've seen a lot of the plays this series multiple times, gentlemen. Yeah, devours from Wolf, the lunges from Morin. But Morin's still farming exceptionally well, despite being pushed back, despite the duels that are trying to set up.
They have that gold lead. They're going to be happy scaling here. It's about getting Faker and Morin online again and into a split pushing form because once we hit that late game, the double teleport's going to be very important. Mountain going to tunnel in here.
Let's see if they can make this work. Abyssal Void, this is aggressive. Going to deliver bang to On. Exhaust is being used. On is no summoners. Is going to have the Devour in a moment. Wolf is tanking with the Grey Health. Bang gets the kill. Wolf props the Gay Health and he gets out alive. SKT get themselves one up in the top lane. Mountain still not pulling the trigger. In fact, he's backing away.
That was an incredibly bold tower dive, knowing the limits of those champions so well.
Yeah, just the execution there. And then the little hesitation at the end of Wolf there where he's like, do I save my AD carry? I'm not going to spin him in for the kill because Buster Shot was still available. Tanks his tower, juggling tower aggro with Devour. It's like an Elise dive too. Really creative usage, and that's something we haven't seen too much from Tahm Kench players. Using that Abyssal Voids in your lane to make these picks, and that's just good knowledge of where Albus was on the map too, because if he randomly showed up at any point in that exchange, that could have been ugly.
And Freak was talking about this earlier, but that I agree with him entirely. That is the hallmark of a good team, just being able to do these creative plays on the fly, not knowing the situation, and that's been a use. As we see Tahm Kench, it's been awesome to see him develop as a champion in professional play over the course of this tournament. More and more people are figuring out the limits, what you can do with him, what is good.
Yeah, more so just the confidence that Bang has in Wolf too.
Well, Marin taking a tower hit. Bengi's actually flashed forward. The volatile Spiderling comes out. Grand Challenge is available. Ziv gets the heal from Decimate, but it's not enough. Marin's Grand Challenge is successful, and they take him down.
And that is one of the strengths of SKT. Continuous faith in your teammates. Just overall, you saw Bang in the bot lane, didn't use heal or flash. Was sure Wolf would save him. In the top lane, Marin goes in for that exchange, knows he can trust on Bengi to burst him down quickly enough. Then the heal denies the bleed damage at all after that corpse of Ziv drops on the floor. So, again, SKT 4-1 right now.
Looking for the bottom side. They see Bengi in the mid lane. They know Faker is back, so TP and not up for Faker at the moment. Can they punish this?
Let's take a look. So, Arn's going to take so many auto attacks. It's not going to work out. Mountain is around. We'll kill the pink ward, but there's Bengi roaming from the mid lane. AHQ need to be a little careful. We did see Faker forced back because of the all-in from Westor. And AHQ able to sneak that Scuttle Crab from underneath Bengi's nose. 1,000 gold in the lead. Feels like it could be bigger, but AHQ are still farming relatively well despite giving up all of those deaths.
And they're not stopping, putting on the pressure right now. Marin's TP is going to be up in just a couple of seconds, so we could see a very large fight. Wolf gonna get hooked.
Let's take a look. Grey health is up. Mountain is going to go down. Bang just sends the Buster Shot out, and they secure another kill. They secure a blue buff. Now, there are tunnels behind the Dragon, so if SKT stick around, Mountain has the opportunity to get involved with that Void Rush. A tunnel in the pit that's not being killed yet. 4 seconds before they come up. AHQ, they're sticking around. Dragon secure. Death Sentence finds Bang. And waddle, waddle, waddle. Wolf walks away.
I like how they're almost drawing out hooks with Bang at the moment. They're just putting him in the front line. They have such confidence that Wolf is just going to be there right next to it at all times, eating him up. And so they're basically, by doing this, by dangling Bang as bait, they're making sure that AHQ actually cannot get a pick in this game because they're taking it hook, line, and sinker each time.
And Westor's gonna land a hook onto Faker. Junglers are both nearby. Faker's gone low. Mountain will finish him off. And it looks like Westor's made it out alive. Now Mountain wants to get a furious bite onto Bengi. Marin is in trouble up top. Ziv flashes forward, finds the kill. May not have needed to expend the flash, but it doesn't matter. 2 quick kills to AHQ.
Yeah, Marin not flashing there either, so had a chance to deny that kill. Not going to come through at AHQ. This is what they want. They want these skirmishes to start going their way and getting a big advantage. And Faker, his Rod of Ages has now been delayed significantly. You want to be getting that Rod about this time right now, 13 to 15 minutes, but he's going to get it late. That's going to slow down his scaling and give AHQ a shot at this game. Yeah,
Westor said it first in his interview too. SKT roam a lot with Faker to get other lanes ahead. One lane could use a roam right here as Marin because he just gets pulled in and doesn't get a good repost here. And too early, and then the dunk does too much damage. You gotta, at this point, you have to hold it for the ultimate almost.
I think that matchup is just so interesting because the mind games that surround the riposte and the decimate really start to take shape, and that time, Ziv does get the better end of that trade.
Let's see whether or not AHQ can keep up this chaos style of game. Multiple fights on multiple sides of the map. That skirmish that their team composition offers, but no tower's fallen yet because of the inability to push waves incredibly fast.
And that is punishing that Rod of Ages for Faker too. Any additional global gold speeds up that purchase a little bit. It's so far delayed because he's only relying on CS right now, and he's playing a style where he's actually roaming more than Westor. Go even bot like twice, help to steal away a blue buff, teleport bot once, so Faker's struggling to get his scaling item purchased.
There's TP coming into the top side.
Everybody's looking for Ziv. He may not survive. Marin not going to be able to get the kill yet. Apprehend onto Faker. The heal from Decimate keeps Ziv up and standing. There's support coming from the river, but Westor will not be able to arrive. And SKT's play is thwarted by AHQ.
There's just so little crowd control on that top side to actually get the kill. If you want to make that play, make sure that Bengi gets there first so we can provide the Cocoon a little bit disjointed on that top side gank, and so it won't be successful.
Yeah, it just shows you how scary it is to dive with Darius overall. We saw Soas, I believe it was, turn around and play on him too with just a good apprehend under the turret.
And here we go, the counter play.
Let's take a look again. Albus finds the flay, but bang, flashes from the death sentence. Wolf has arrived. There's a Devour available, and AHQ have the numbers advantage in the bottom lane. Will they commit to the tower? It does not look to be the case.
And right there, just great presence of mind. Wolf getting into the bottom side to deny the dive. But not only that, Bang chose to flash directly down to avoid the hook. If he flashed left, he was going to get the mind game of the death sentence coming in, so he avoids it entirely by just going directly south.
Yeah, really, perpendicular flashes is what you need to do against hooks, and really good presence of mind for Bang to do it. But fantastic flash play from Albus. Mountain face checking a bit here, but getting tanky enough to really start dueling Bengi in the jungle.
Trading wards back and forth. Ziv looking for the fights. Fights everywhere, it's just non-stop. Ziv's not going to be able to follow up further. Teams are even at 17 minutes, and SKT have been ahead at 20 in every single one of their games. But the smallest advantage was 700 gold. Let's see if they can claw that back, or will AHQ continue to take advantage?
And that is the nature of this game. Low wave clear compositions with full-on skirmish team comps, 0 towers taken, 0 dragons taken, or just 1 taken from SKT so far, and it just shows you how much of different pace this game is due to the compositions.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of kills because no one can rapidly push the lane in this game except for Tristana. So it's a very slow march from turret to turret every single time. And that just opens up so many opportunities to make aggressive plays on enemy champions. But look at this, that tower's getting very low for Faker.
Westor's just playing so aggressive in that lane. They even toy with the idea of a dive. Teleport available for Ziv. Finds Chum the Waters, and Faker will not be able to get out. Westor dunks him under the tower.
Cool guys, don't look at exploding Fakers. Just walk away. Just kill the best mid laner in the world, and I walked away from him.
Matchup is in Westor's favor. He may be able to get this tower in a few minutes' time. Finally, that Rod of Ages is completed for Faker. Mountain
goes
will
wide.
Void the Cocoon as Bengi fires it just to the side lane. Ziv now looking to chase him down. Will they go under the tower? Prey Seeker will get fired. Bengi's 110 HP. Mountain's tanking the turret. They've gone real deep for this. There is a Void Rush out if Mountain needs it. Ziv, he's all of a sudden out of position. Decimate heal will not land, and Ziv will get dropped. Mari can look for more. Tunnel for retreat from Mountain. Flash is available. Gonna find another tunnel. Lead to a third tunnel. Mountain's just digging holes everywhere.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting idea while Faker was down. They knew he was dead. He didn't have the TP up, but making that level of dive at this point in the game is
so greedy.
Very, very risky.
Yeah, Mountain dug a grave there for his top laner and then tunneled his way out. Ziv was doing actually fantastic in that 1v1 matchup up until Mountain arrived and kind of threw it away there. And you can see the power from Marin too. Once he gets to proc that ultimate, it's so hard to take him down. Just the amount of healing that comes out of that.
And you can feel just how, maybe desperate is a strong word, but how much AHQ want and need those aggressive plays. Multiple times this game, they've just gone in over and over and over. And yes, it's keeping them even, but they simply do not have a lead. And I'm scared of the scaling options on the side of SKT.
This is a good move here by SKT, putting Tristana in the mid lane, especially with Wolf being able to deny what Fizz can do into an AD carry. A lot of the damage, both the Q from Fizz and the R, can simply be denied. And SKT's one siege component now finally finds an opening.
Yeah, and I think that I totally agree. Great swap. We are just going to see Faker's teleport come back up soon. Another duel going on at the top side.
Let's take a look. Ziv finds the apprehend. Decimate. The dunk gets repulsed. Flash forward for Ziv, followed by Marin. The bleed is burning, and it will not be enough. All of a sudden, Wolf wants to deliver bang to Ziv's backside. Ziv is looking for something to come from this, and unfortunately will find himself between a rock and a hard place. And it's bang, Marin, Bengi, Wolf all gonna be involved. Kill credit to Marin.
Yeah, it's tough to get the bang in the backside right there, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it didn't work out for him that time. Ziv goes down, and then now we're gonna see this pressure. Can they get the mid lane turret for it is going to be the question, because that is going to be a pretty favorable trade for AHQ.
And for the first time all tournament, Westor has a CS advantage at 20 minutes. AHQ have a gold advantage at 20 minutes, a tower advantage, and they're gonna even the dragons out. This is the closest anybody has been with SKT, arguably because of the team compositions, but AHQ need to do more.
Now, tower and trade for the dragon. SKT already with that first dragon of the game, so they're not gonna be too broken up about that. They're gonna take a red buff and grab all they can.
Now that the map opens up and a couple towers fall left and right, you can definitely see some macro play come into the playstyle of this skirmishing. You really need to start playing smarter, use vision to your advantage, and more importantly, vision denial. Playing with Fog of War is incredibly important if you play this heavy pick style composition, because being at the wrong place at the wrong time could just cost you 2 towers, because you simply just can't out-rotate people anymore, because you have no tower seat whatsoever.
Yeah, and for SKT, it's all about playing around the Tristana. They have the double teleport, and until On actually gets a Hurricane here, they're not going to have really that much great wave clear. Marin already snapping up the last outer turret, and SKT, this is where they need to start initiating that 1-3-1, and they probably don't want that casted into the Fizz. Remember, Faker's Rod of Ages came 18, 19 minutes in this game, very delayed.
He's sitting on 4 stacks, I believe, right now. But only 4 stacks of Faker, so he's so far behind. Not only is he behind in the matchup, he's behind in the item build. That's why we see Wolf showing up here in the top lane.
And Wolf is looking, he's hungry. This is a sushi fight if ever I've seen one. We did trade flashes back and forth, and Wolf wants to waddle forward. Bengi's all of a sudden out of position. Assist for Mountain, and On gets the kill credits.
I actually don't know why we see Bengi running the Runeglaive here instead of the Cinderhulk, because his solo laners are very fragile in this game. He needs to be tanky, and he really hasn't done all that much that he with the Runeglaive that he couldn't have done with the Cinderhulk.
And we see some inexperience here from SKT from playing behind with this very pick-oriented composition. Bengi got caught there because he was pathing to the top lane to maybe get that kill, but it takes you too much time to get there, and you just get punished because there was 2 members involved chasing down the top laner. Or chasing down Westor there in the top lane, and Bengi just passed it to mid lane.
And
with no vision.
Again.
He's coming on through, and there's the Fate's Call, just dragging him in with the Lantern right after. Very well played combo.
Wasn't even looking to help top, just wanted to push in mid there, but you can't do that with no vision. Not when 2 members of your team are in the top lane.
Luckily for SKT, tempo is now slowed down just a little. There's not a lot of towers to pressure for AHQ unless they're very deep in SK territory. And obviously that deep vision in the top quadrant will give SKT information to work with as AHQ is playing further back on the map. Hurricane has been completed, so On is activated, if we can say that.
AHQ doing a fantastic job. Even though Ziv died a lot, he's still putting a lot of pressure in that matchup, continuously drawing SKT members to him. The other side of the map, Albus and On haven't gotten outplayed anymore. Learned their lesson about the Devourer too, so with Westor being up 3-0 here, they gotta actually, they're poised to take control of the map for the next 5 minutes.
Here we go, just a little bit of harassment on Mountain while SKT takes out that pink ward. Do see a kind of topside control going to SKT, AHQ with the deep wards at the bottom. Marin gonna go all in.
Let's take a look, level 15 to level 13. Ziv's gonna be able to proc the grand challenge. Noxian Might will not even get activated. And Marin uses that level and item advantage to his favor.
Marin didn't even lose HP in that exchange. Really seeing the power of that build coming out.
I mean, that's it, right? Once you get the Phage onto Fiora with the dash too, it is incredibly difficult to get away from her in a one-on-one once she starts going in.
Yeah, and the Ravenous Hydra buys you enough lifesteal time to proc your ulti, which gives you more health, which then gives you more lifesteal, and suddenly that all-in type of style that Ziv was playing earlier just isn't working anymore, and these longer trades are getting more into Marin's favor.
And SKT will also have the map play thanks to double teleports. AHQ cannot afford to have Westor in the wrong place at the wrong time. SKT, they're starting another early Baron. Teleport is available for Ziv. There's a Lantern in the pit, so Albus is aware of this.
Yeah, clever play. They just poking in there, seeing if they could get something. They saw a bunch of members recall, and of course, Ziv being dead. If you can sneak it right there, might as well go for it. Not really anything
into a fight, there's no sieges that can happen on the other side because wave clear is just so tremendously slow this game.
All right, 25 minutes in. 500 gold separates these teams, but it's SKT. They need to replace their deep vision. They've had truly exceptional vision this entire series. Let's take a look how they prioritize. Will they look at setup around Dragon, spawns in a minute, or are they content to play around this Baron? Neither team wants to deal with Baron and powered minions because of extremely limited wave clear.
Well, AHQ's in a similar position that they were in Game 1. This is a very kiteable composition that we're looking at. It's just the Fizz, you know, coming in instead of the Diana, but same issue. So the more SKT can force them to just face check a brush, they're going to be able to kite out very effectively and then re-engage once the Tristana resets come through. So for SKT, it's playing out in a similar fashion, and AHQ has to find an answer.
Ooh, good repel. Bengi alive. The Flay will not really find its target. They've committed a teleport and a box. Westor, Chum the Waters finds Wolf, and we're going to see that fish fight once more. Grey health goes low. Death Sentence will not find a champion, but the grand challenge is being proc. Albus will drop, and SKT have the healing advantage. AHQ have already lost 2. As Marin may burn, he survives, stays alive. Faker and Bang go forward. They've only lost the Catfish and taken 3 with them.
Yeah, and such a subtle outplay there from Bang, just sidestepping the hook after Albus flashes in, and he doesn't have it hesitate at all. He just keeps whacking away at people, and then people forget about Fiora. Now Mountain goes in, but Bang drops.
He finds him! Mountain shuts Bang down, defends the tower as well.
That was a really good play by Mountain, knowing his limits right there and stopping the siege while simultaneously getting the shutdown gold. Very well done.
But overall, just the knowledge of these champions, just sidestepping from Bang, Marin just staying alive by hitting a minion right at the end before bleeding to death, then they just kicks in, gives us some more health. Confused Sentinels here.
Sentinel's getting real dizzy.
That Sentinel will actually see something though this time around.
Dragon.
And this is the replay of that fight.
This play doesn't do too much.
Doesn't do anything at all, and Bang just on the outside of the box right there. And this is exactly the fight that SKT wanted.
Sorry to cut you off, Monty. Westor's going to play for Trickster up. Kill credit to On. Teleport comes in for Faker. He will most likely find Westor. No, Westor hops and skips and plays away. He stays alive. Faker's got that Rift Walk to safety, and nobody's really going to be able to chase him. Even with the Prey Seeker, Faker gets away. So AHQ find a kill. Marin, who is maybe out of position. What can they take with the 25 seconds?
Probably just gonna go to the Dragon here. They have some vision around the Baron, but they obviously can't afford to fight Baron and SKT at the same time. Picking up a Dragon is possible here. They got some teleports down. Bengi though.
Oh, Albus finds another death sentence. The Flay this time goes wide. Fate's call. Bops Wolf on the head. Albus is on the front line. The death sentence finds a target. Wolf's down. Bengi's caught by Chum the Waters. Pierce connects, and Westor finds one. AHQ, they're taking control.
They're making very great picks overall. AHQ are looking to turn small advantages, which is the Dragon, into bigger things. They want kills and Dragons. They do it fantastically, but one can still credit Bengi's positioning this game. He's been going a little bit too far forward and has been picked off or in need of saving multiple times this game.
Well, it's fine. You have to think about the Runeglaive versus Cinderhulk trade-off, right? If you can position more aggressively in a tanky situation like that where you're just trying to get onto an objective if you have that Cinderhulk. If you're playing with a Runeglaive, there has to be somebody else there because you're a damaged champion. The entire purpose is just to burst somebody down.
Albus though, he's landing a lot of hooks this game. He's not afraid to flash forward, to use them either, so he's trailing every time Wolf eats somebody, he's trailing Wolf, and then Wolf gets caught himself, so he's trading lives.
Albus is keeping AHQ's hopes alive. Time and time again, he's landed those death sentences all series long. And as we hit 30 minutes into the game, it is as even as this is going to get. So here's Bengi getting caught out.
The problem with this play is Faker's in base with no teleport. Bengi should never walk through. There's no way he can contest that Dragon ever. He's only setting himself up for a potential pickoff. Like, another nice hook here. Wolf goes down. You can't afford to play the map 4v5, and Marin was still dead there, so they were playing the map 3v5, blind into a Dragon that they shouldn't even contest.
And they had, HQ had a pink ward, so there was total vision denial in the river, so you have to assume that if you're walking on a ward and you can't see what's in the river and you don't see Thresh,
assume that they're there.
Assume that they are there.
So a lot of praise to AHQ, at least their mid and bottom half of the map because it's Ziv that's really far behind. Level 15 to level 17. Still down 20 CS.
Ziv bought him the time to get ahead though. Ziv continuously got aggressed upon by SKT members, still kept even against Smart. Now that matchup is tilting away from him, but he bought so much time so that Westor and Aunt could trail ahead.
Yeah, you could say he was absorbing the pressure that SKT was applying, making sure that Westor had the freedom in that mid lane. 4-1 and 3. Got another needlessly large rod picked up, but Faker is continuing to scale. Rod of Aegis has been fully stacked for a few minutes. Hourglass is completed as well. So, gentlemen, Kassadin is a thing. Do not forget, he can start to chase on down.
And one thing that's crucial that's been finished is Bang's QSS, so we can drop the fish. So now, this is where Fizz starts that problem. We get into the late game, we see some of these defensive items coming out. It really cuts Fizz's damage.
He does become more of a...
I think... So Ziv apprehended
pulled it
one,
over the wall, yeah.
And then got the kill credit as well. So Ziv is like mine, and got it.
Fizz becomes more of a two-pronged attack weapon here right now later in the game once he finishes that Zhonya's, because he can go in for the initial combo, Zhonya's wait for cooldown, then go again and use the second playful trickster to get out. So in that sense, he can fight still after his fish gets dropped. But it becomes an ultimate skill matchup later in these team fights.
One that Westor will know intimately. Longest standing Fizz player probably on the planet.
Look how scared Westor is. He just pathed left to right a couple of times, so he's not quite sure where he has to be on the map. He wants to push top lane right here, but he's prioritizing vision denial a little bit on the Baron area, and he wants to be in a position to flank mid if that siege happens from SKT. He's still pathing left to right.
All the positive plays that AHQ put on the map, despite being even, they are the ones that are under pressure. Ziv dealing with Marin in the bottom lane, despite being 2 levels down. And SKT playing safe and respectful in that middle lane. They're not over-aggressing on the tower. AHQ need to find another miraculous pick if they actually want to get map control, because it's simply not there.
Well, one thing that SKT has been doing this game is just making sure that the minion waves are constantly pressed into AHQ's side of the map. They have that advantage in the top lane, and they're only able to do it in 2 lanes right now because Faker is so far behind. But as this game goes on, Faker will be unleashed as a 1-3-1 split pusher instead. And then it's going to be very difficult for AHQ to contest just the map pressure, because even if they get a pick, even if they win a fight, taking an objective afterwards will be extremely difficult.
Release the Faker.
I think he was unleashed earlier this game. Continues to scale up. So Dragon is up in 2 minutes. Baron continues to stay standing, and AHQ committed vision resources to this top quadrant. So the Baron dance, gentlemen, we may see it begin.
SKT is aware of the way HQ wants to win these fights later on. That is by flanking with the Fizz. So you can see every time they don't have vision in the river next to them, they back off, and if they do, they're constantly pinging out Westor's position. But just an incredibly stale game. Nobody's really breaking up any towers here.
And it's about time to remind everybody, if SKT win, they qualify for the semis to face Origin. AHQ need to pick up a win to stay alive in the tournament. You cannot underestimate how important that is. Right, tower dive. Marin's going under. Will proc the grand challenge. Riposte that decimate. And that may unlock some time on the tower. Marin does have flash available. Albus is looking for a target. Will not find one, and bang. Rocket jumps quite aggressively there, knowing it was limited threat from Engage. SKT, they found some time on this inner turrets.
Yeah, and they've just controlled this bottom side of the map because of the pressure that we've seen Marin exert, just slowly chipping away on this tower. A little bit dangerous for HQ to even walk there through that path to defend it, but they do get away unscathed.
Yeah, he picks up a Spirit Visage now too, just to increase that healing even more. He's barely even dropping in these small trades, and he just whittles down Ziv until the pressure makes them crumble, and eventually they'll lose an objective. But it's a slow, long battle to really get him chunked enough to zone him out of the lane, and then you get a tower. But could be looking at quite a long game this game.
Well, that's the reality of these pick competitions going head-to-head. Neither team really has very good siege, so it's about the split push. It's about these little bitty skirmishes around objectives. So heading into 40 or 50 minutes would not really be too unusual here.
Yep. Fortunately for AHQ, it is about individual play. It is about landing that one skill shot, that one flank. So as we continue to scale up, Dragon number 3 looking to be secured with the Ren, Stacks, and Smite. It should be an easy secure. made simpler as SKT back away. And that movement speed is going to help AHQ against this incredibly mobile, incredibly difficult team to lock down from SKT.
Yeah, and if AHQ can actually deny the possibility of a blind Baron against SKT, they can just keep playing towards 5 Dragon win conditioning. They're fine getting pushed in up until the Dragon spawns. They don't have to get any other objective on the map as long as SKT can't really sneak a Baron. Later on, though, you have to be careful because Fiora, Elise, Tristana does an incredibly quick Baron.
The first game all worlds that SKT has trailed in those Dragons. Cocoon finds Mountain. He's very confident on his tunnels. He's got some support coming up from behind, but here's Bang. There's the Lantern. Mountain again knew that he had relative support, but that may have been a tad over-eager.
By getting poked, though, he is seeding up vision control of the Baron again. And you have to weigh, as a jungler, you have to weigh that very seriously. Does it matter more if I lose those wards, or does it matter more if I get this blue buff? And that's what he chose. He didn't get either in that situation, but playing so aggressively by himself is a risk when it comes to preventing SK Telecom from now threatening this Baron very actively.
Yeah, and as the 4v4 moves away from mid lane, but actually towards Baron, teams distance themselves a lot farther from that bot lane, where the 1v1 is convincingly being won by Marn. So we could see a repeat dive into teleport later on by Marn. That's what SKT is waiting for right now.
Luckily for AHQ, Scuttle Crab belongs to them. So SKT playing around with vision in the pit. Ziv looking for Marin. Marin forced a flash. It looked like Ziv flashed forward as well. Did not use the duck on. Will ride the Lantern to safety. The explosive satchel. That was QSS off, if I'm reading that correctly, and summon a heal. SKT now have the advantage. They chunked AHQ out, and they're looking to push towers. Marin loses the fight, but ends up winning by getting the tower anyway.
Well, yeah, he has a ton of lifesteal on this build, right? So he's going to have that advantage. Can't quite knock it down, but it's just little by little. He's winning the duel in this bottom side.
One more mistake from either team will result in a big objective. For SKT, if they punish a mistake from HQ, it'll be blowing open the base thanks to having Tristana.
Slow farm game here for Faker. See what he goes for next. It's going to be the Void Staff or something else. It's a nice big wave right there. If we've been watching SKT, every time they push down to that tier 2 turret, they've been letting a slow push develop. While they push mid and bottom, the wave develops, Faker goes and farms it, and then they reset back in the mid lane. Yeah,
I've seen the hesitation on Wester too. He wants to push it out fully, but he can never quite commit to that full 1-3-1 because then SKT just punished. He's constantly looking for those flanks, but due to really good warding on the side of the flanks, SKT is preventing it, and that puts a bit of a net neutral state where neither team is really getting ahead.
Well, even if you do have wards if you're Westor, you have to worry about the Tahm Kench ult, you have to worry about the teleport coming in from the very fed Marin. So there's a risk even if you do have that vision.
Mountain playing with his life a little bit. Used the tunnel to get away from Benki, and Bang was looking to take him out. Void Staff was completed by Faker in the last back. Marin's got himself another BF sword. Damage galore as far as he is concerned. Westor's had that hourglass for a little while, so power curve continues to escalate. We're about to hit 40 minutes into the game. No clear sign of a victor yet, but SKT honestly spending most of the time away from their own base.
Interesting potential power swing in this matchup here. Stery's Gauge finished by Ziv, so when he goes low, he actually gets that extra health and just more damage coming out of him in an extended duel against Marin. So Marin actually just wants to slowly. He's even more incentivized to kill Ziv slowly and painfully instead of actually going for a burst fight.
Oh, tension is building. On once again takes a no hit, no attack rather. Needs to back away. Marin still fighting Ziv in the bottom lane. Gromp round 3 goes to Marin for the second time.
And we haven't seen Faker use his teleport to really assist that 1v1 there in the bot lane. Ziv and Marin have been facing off a couple of times against each other, but Faker could easily just teleport down bot if the remaining SKT members can hold the Baron vet 3v4, and that could swing up in the game too.
So for the first time, AHQ are not making as many positional mistakes. Mountain's playing a little aggressive, and for SKT, with their team comp, they're unable to play the map as effectively. They are so reliant on finding a kill.
Yeah, but the problem here is that AHQ is marching to the beat of SKT's drum. The side wave control has been heavily in favor of SK Telecom over the last 10 or so minutes. So they're constantly playing a defensive game. They have to keep poking in dangerously at Baron to start to clear out wards. And it's getting very difficult.
You can also see Ziv, he doesn't want to get past that brush too far. That's why this lane has constantly been pushed up in the bottom. Not because he's afraid to duel Marin, because he's just afraid of Faker's teleport. So as long as Faker has a teleport, bot lane will always be pressured by SKT.
Now that Wolf has got some armor, got some hit points, he's actually somebody that can tank up Baron a little. So simply put, nobody else from SKT can really tank it. There's sustain from Marin and Bang, but that's so risky.
They're actually pinging bot. They may go for a teleport play here.
Find and engage. You can see the fight happening in the bottom lane. Marin, the challenge is out. He looks to be winning. Steric's gauge comes up. Ziv with Noxian Might looking for a target, and they end up nullifying one another. Marin is recalling. Baron is being dropped so low. SKT have decided to peel. The Cocoon does not find a target, and actually Marin, he's staying in lane. He's got sustain. Arn is going to hop backwards. The box comes down for a little bit of zoning. The Flay finds no one as Westor's coming from the side. He connects onto Bengi, but Bengi repels away, drops down. Ziv, he won the duel. He can recall back. He can teleport forward. But can AHQ do anything with their next minute of 5v4?
Potential home guards teleport could threaten the Baron, but remember, AHQ is sitting on 3 dragons right now.
Yeah, not only that, but that was a misplay from SKT. As soon as Ziv doesn't use his ult in the bottom side, you need to back off, because in a TP versus TP duel, Marin had already used his ultimate. Ziv coming in could be dangerous. They're going to go for it, though.
Let's take a look. Where are the wards? Ziv needs to arrive. Faker's been chunked down by that Baron. The no real front line hurting them a little. Dragon number 4. Gentlemen, the timer is now cranked up to 6 minutes, and it's actually AHQ underneath that clock.
This is the first time we've actually seen teams threaten SKT here at Worlds. Let's watch that again, this duel there in the bot lane. Ziv goes low.
Hits the Decimate right there. There's another one.
Wow.
Mystery post. Yeah, you can't afford to do that in this matchup.
Oh, gentlemen, sorry to pull you back. Albus is in trouble. Fate's Core pulls him backwards. He gets a 4-man knockup, but Baron is down. 3,900 HP. Ziv is being exhausted as he's on the back line. Arn is trying to hop and skip towards Marin. A double kill for Bang. He gets the reset on the rocket jump. May get a 3rd onto Mountain. Looking for the auto attack range. Will not find it. Faker is going a little low. He's going golden, and Marin wants to finish off Arn and Westor. Westor throws down the hourglass. Faker shuts Arn down. Westor will follow shortly thereafter. We unfortunately didn't see the setup, but all of a sudden, all of the work that AHQ put in, completely undone.
I don't even know what to say about that. Marin, they waited too long to start that Baron where he had his TP up, he could get into the pit. They're going to charge straight forward for an inhibitor right here. Take it out, and then they'll have the ultimate pressure onto that Baron.
Yeah, fantastic team fight there from SKT, moving in and out of the fight, and they can likely just finish up the game, but then it makes you wonder, why did AHQ start that Baron when they had a potential 5th dragon?
It's a question that AHQ will be asking themselves all the way through the offseason. SK Telecom destroy AHQ's Nexus and are 1 step closer to the Summoners Cup.
Wow, so a very abrupt end to that game after a very long, well-fought game by AHQ, but they don't, like you're saying, Prepo, they don't play around the 5th dragon, and instead go for a very risky Baron when Marin's coming back up with TP, and they are punished. Yeah.